So, Alan, tell us a little bit about your background growing up as a poor kid in New York in a log cabin.
Not quite, but close. Actually, I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and went to the Bronx High School of Science. And actually, the first day of school, he turned out to be my best friend in school, was Stokely Carmichael, who actually started the Black Power movement. I went to the Bronx High School of Science, then I went to City College. And after graduating from City College, I knew I had to leave town or get away from, I had a very domineering mom. And so I met a fellow student, suggested I go to the University of Texas. And I said, are you kidding me? I don't know how to ride a horse. I've never been in a posse. And I don't know what's going to happen. He said, just apply. So strangely enough, I applied to the University of Texas Psychology Department, and lo and behold, I was accepted, and that's how I came to Texas. Normally I tell people I took the wrong train, and I always wanted to see a foreign country. But other than that, I ended up here, and just as luck would have it, I end up in probably the scariest movie of all time, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that's a whole story right there, how a kid from the Bronx ended up in the scariest movie of all time. So that's a little bit in a nutshell of my background.
So before Texas Chainsaw, we know there was a movie before that, and you had known somehow or met Tobe Hooper before that, right?
Yeah, I met Tobe Hooper really in a social setting, and at the time I was working on a master's in social work. I had gotten a master's in social psychology and then switched to social work. And I met this couple at the time, David and Amy, and that was ostensibly the movie that turned out to be a movie called Eggshells. It was kind of what I would say was a hippy-dippy psychedelic type of movie. But it showed the promise that Tobe Hooper had. He was a very, very creative guy. And because they were doing volunteer work with me, he asked if they could film some scenes at my house. And I said, fine. And from one scene developed into another scene to another scene. So I'm actually in the movie throughout the whole movie. Unfortunately, nobody saw that movie. And that was it. And then 4 years later, I got a call, and I don't remember if it was Toby or Kim Hinkle who wrote Chainsaw, but they called me and said they had written this script, and which turned out to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they wanted me to play this part. Jerry, I guess, a wisecracking driver, and I guess it was just meant to be, and so that's how I got into a Chainsaw. I didn't have to audition for it because I wasn't an actor, and if you see some of the reviews of the movie, you know why. They weren't wrong. But anyway, I had the time of my life, and here we are 50 years later, and the movie is still bigger than ever.
So in between Eggshells and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, had you kept up with Toby?
Not really, a little bit, but he moved out to California, and I think he did Poltergeist, he did Salem's Lot, a lot of other movies. And then I saw him a little bit before he passed away at a showing of Eggshells at the Alamo Drafthouse on Lamar, and we said we'd get together, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
But in between Eggshells and when you filmed Texas Chainsaw, were you and Toby in touch?
Yeah, but not that much. But after Chainsaw, actually, I shot a couple of scenes for a movie that was being directed by Eagle Pinnell, and it was going to be like 4 vignettes, 3 or 4 about young couples, but I ended up going to an S training in Colorado, and I don't know why, but anyway, when I got back from that, Eagle decided to focus in on the Texas thing, which turned out to be, I think, the whole shooting match, which really was a very good movie. And so that was it. I think I did a movie called The Tomato That Ate Austin. I don't know whatever happened to that. So I went from the pinnacle, right down the tubes until this fellow by the name of Ray Spivey, brought me back from Where Are They Now? And I was in a movie called Storage Locker. And from that, we became friends. I believe we're still friends, and we threw out some ideas, and from that arose what we now have, the Weed Hacker Massacre. And what I like to say is, once you stop laughing, you'll start screaming.